All right. Hello, everybody out in internet land. Hope you're having a fun Prime Twitch day. Getting all that stuff you need and helping your favorite Twitch streamers. So, what have I been working on? So, I've got my anatomy study, which I've been working on, and probably going to give it one more look-see before I decide to bake it. Just put that off over there for now. Last time I was working on a skull. And this is kind of where I got to. I was going to make a pirate skull. One-Eye Willie. But I wasn't really happy with the way this clay was working out. So what I did was I bought some sample monster clay. So I've got soft, medium, and hard. And I'm going to check these out. And I'm going to see what they're like to work with. So I'm going to grab some of my tools here. Let's dig into this and see what we see. So it seems like a lot of sculptors like the medium. It's easy to work with. It's kind of a combination of soft and hard. Hard is apparently like really hard. But it's good for holding that fine detail. So a lot of sculptors will sculpt in one of these other two, and then when they have to do something fine, they'll move over to hard. And I'm playing with the new camera setup and everything, so you're gonna have to bear with me on this. Let's see. Focus in on that. All right. So let's start with soft. Let's see how soft works out. Do I have to just cut into this, or I guess just cut right into it. So this is a wax-based clay. Soft monster clay. Wow, this is very soft. All right, so I got soft right there, soft. Don't want to get these mixed up. Just medium. I think I need to change my X-Acto blade. Having a hard time cutting into this. So the cool thing about monster clay is if you want to soften it up, you can just heat it up with some people use the oven, like a little toaster oven. Some people throw this in a crock pot. Some people use a hairdryer. I've seen a few guys use a little oven with some with some very hot light bulbs that soften this clay up so it's easier to use. And here's hard. Some hard clay here. So here, let me pull my little skull into view that I was working on last. Got my little reference right there. like I said, I wasn't very happy with this this oil-based clay. So I'm excited to try this new stuff out. And if I like one of them, I'll just buy a big, 5-pound brick of it or something. Oh, this is really hard. So this is the hard. So I got soft, medium, and hard. All right, let's grab some tools here and see what it's like to work with. So I think somebody I was listening to online said that the soft clay is good if you're making something really big. But this is like really soft. So you grab some of my favorite tools here. Let's grab a rubber tool. Maybe a couple of these. See how this is to work. It's really soft. This actually feels a lot like the Sculpting medium. Yeah, like Sculpting medium blend. Sculpting medium blend is really, really soft as well. I thought it's supposed to be like a combination between Super Sculpting and Sculpting Firm. But then I got it, it's like really soft. Actually, this feels a lot like it. This feels like it'd be very difficult to work with. Just because, you could drop it and maybe you've sculpted a nose or an ear or something. You drop it down on the accidentally or touch it and you've ruined your sculpt. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to put this off to the side for now. All right, let's check out Monster Clay. Put this over here. So this is medium, and it's soft, but it's not like horribly soft. Oh man, this takes some work to to get used to. But I can see why people want to sculpt with this. I think once you kind of get it working, I bet you can sculpt pretty good. Let's see. So I've got a project I'm working on. Which is what this was. This is my project. I'm going to make a cool pirate skull, Pirates of the Caribbean-esque, One-Eyed Willie-esque skull. I'm going to cast it and mold it, or mold it and cast it. Put a magnet in the back. And then be able to, paint it and, I don't know, be a refrigerator magnet or something. So that's kind of like the end game here. But I'm deciding which medium I want to work with. Which clay do I want to work with? And I've just heard a lot of good things about Monster Clay. So start blocking in some of these shapes. So I think I'm gonna get my crock pot. One of the things you can heat Monster Clay up in is a crock pot and get it nice and soft. easy to work with. But this feels pretty good. This is so far I like Super Sculpey, and I mix my own blend of Sculpey. But I think I kind of like this. It feels pretty good. One of the things I like about the thought of this monster clay is the reusability factor, right? Being able to sculpt something, cast it, mold it, so I can reproduce it. And then you could take the clay and just recycle it. Rubber tools, not so much. I bet with the soft, I bet the rubber tools work pretty good. Yeah, rubber tools work pretty good with soft, but as is with this medium clay, not so much. All right, well, I'm not going to get too far into this. I want to check out the hard before I get into actually sculpting something. Just gonna sit there right there for now. All right, so now I've got hard. This is this is hard. You know what I bet would be good is if you didn't mind mixing some of this up, I bet you could sculpt the face and then do something like really delicate, like an ear or a nose in the hard stuff. But I guess you have to be careful when you recycle your material that you pull out the hard. And this is really hard. So one of the things you can do is you can actually cast, you know, body parts. Like you can cast your hands or your face, do a bust of yourself, and then you can take this monster clay and you can melt it down and pour it into your mold that you make, and then you'd have a, you know, if you did your own face, then you'd have your face in monster clay, and then you can like sculpt on top of that and turn you into like a zombie or a monster or vampire or something. That might be kind of cool. This is I don't think I'm set up to work with hard. It's just really hard. I think I need to heat this up in an oven. So you can throw these in the microwave, apparently, and warm it up and work with it. So, all right, so I'm going to take the hard. I'm going to set this off to the side. I think I'm going to go back to this medium. Let's see what I can do with this. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Mini Stealth, is that, did I get your name correct? I've got a kind of a crummy monitor. So this material is monster clay. And I ordered this from a website called monstermaker.com. They supply supplies for people who want to do masks and sculpting and that sort of thing, and I think it was like $5, and I got these little sample packs. And I'm giving them I'm testing them out. I worked with this other stuff I don't care for. It's like chiffon or something. It's an oil based clay, and I was I was liking some of the results, but then I started trying to do little material, like for the eye patch, and I was trying to do like little head scarves and stuff, and I wasn't very happy with the way it was turning out, so I decided to experiment. So I don't know. I'm debating. I think I want to use this material, but I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough of this for what I want to do. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to put this aside. But I think this is a good experiment. Let me tilt this up a little bit. I keep putting my hands across the top of the screen. Let's see how teeth goes. You know, I say I'm going to stop and then I keep working, right? So teeth are like little fine detail. I think this is going to work pretty good. You can spend a long time sculpting teeth. And all sculpting is adding and subtracting and pushing stuff around. Yeah, I think I like this. So I believe this is based off of the clay that the Stan Winston studio uses or came up with and developed, or so I'm told. And it became really difficult for people to find this and work with it. So, all right, I should just stop here. I can noodle with this all night. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Sculpey. So this is my mix. So this is a mix of Super Sculpey medium and firm. This medium was way too soft. It was a lot like, where was it? It's a lot like this really soft material. Yeah, I do animation for a living. I work at a game studio, make video games, but I've got a background in illustration, and I decided one day I was really tired of making things in the computer and not having anything you can hold, so I decided to start sculpting and pull this over here. Erg. I did this little anatomy study. Let's see. If I can focus in on this. There we go. So I started doing this anatomy study to kind of learn muscles and bones and how they connect and how they work. And I wouldn't call this finished or final or great. There's a lot of sculptors out there who are a lot better than I am. So feel free to go go watch them for really good stuff. So I decided to learn this, and this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at right now. So. All right, so back to my skull. Here's my reference. So I've got a skull up here. It's called anatomy360.com. Oh man, I can't hardly read. Hey, how's it going? I'm just gonna give you a heads up. There's my monitor I'm trying to read. And this is a low resolution monitor, so I apologize if it's hard for me to read comments or names. All right, so let's get cracking on this. If you go watch last week's sculpting video, I started on that, and you can see it kind of started off like in a big, ugly blobby shape like this. Oh yeah, well, no problem. I appreciate you tuning in. If things seem out of focus, feel free to yell focus, and I'll I'll see if I can focus the camera. I got a new camera, so I'm like, it's a little bit different. I used to have a manual focus camera, which was kind of nice because I could just focus it and it stayed. And the focus lens was on the camera, so it was really easy to operate. But this one I have to do it through the computer, make sure I'm focused. I didn't want to use autofocus because it's always going in and out. It's kind of annoying. All right. A little bit more material. So it's broad brush strokes. So if anybody is interested in sculpting supplies, I believe my Amazon link here, if you hover over the video, you should be able to go there and like buy some Super Sculpey. It's all, you know, all through Amazon. Armature. Got a couple of good books there on anatomy, or at least one good book on anatomy. It's pretty good for anybody who's wanting to get started. Got dogs down here. Coming and trying to get attention. All right, go lay down. Go lay down. So I don't know why, but when I make my skulls, I tend to make the top of the skull, and then I'll make the jaw of the skull, and then I'll put them together. But yeah, if you go to, I believe it's Anatomy 360, they have some really great reference. Really reasonably affordable. They 3D scan people in various poses, and you can, you know, purchase like a pose pack. And it's great for illustrators. It's great for modelers. And that's where I got this skull from. In fact, the skull is free. What I'm looking at here for my reference. Let's rotate around to here so you can kind of see. You can toggle things like female or male skull. You can toggle the cranium or the jaw on or off. You can rotate the lights. You can change lighting. But yeah, the skull is free. I think all you do is like, you know, click their links to kind of post it on Facebook or whatever, and they give it to you for free. But I bought several of their packs. I want to get their hand pack because they got some really good hand gestures. That is from Anatomy 360. I don't think it's a .com. It might be a .info. They're in the UK, I believe. You two dogs, be quiet. Come here. Come here. Come here. Urgh. What are you doing? All right. Go lay down. So when you sculpt, some of the things you have to ask yourself is how important are things? Like, will you ever see it? If you never see it, you don't need to sculpt it, right? Sometimes I can't help myself. I found very interesting is if I flip the skull over, let me fix the lighting here. Just all the organic structure that's under here and all the cavities and what have you. I think all that's really, really neat. It's not something I normally think about when I sculpt a head, because you never see it. Where's my light? There it is. The cool thing about skulls is they're as unique as people's faces. They're all different. There's some very, there's some anatomy you have to be conscious of, but all being said, nasal cavities, how the septum is formed, all very different. Oh yeah. So when you learn anatomy of the face, there's some things you have to be conscious of, and I'm sure you hear it all the time. Like you take the shape of the head, and the eyes are halfway down, and then you go, like another in between the eyes and the chin. Halfway that is the bottom of the nose. Then you drop down, you get the lips. But other things to think about is how wide the face is, the eyes. If you weren't looking at the skull, if you're looking at like a human face, the space between the eyes is equal to one eye length or one eye width, and the space between the outside of the eye and the side of the head is also one eye length or width, eye width. So it's essentially you have five eyes. Your head is about 5 eyes wide. Other things are like ears. The top of your ear is usually in line with the top of your brow, and the bottom of the earlobe is equal, or even with the bottom of the nose. So little things like that. The corners of the mouth line up with the pupil, typically. Edge of the nose typically is with the corner of the eye. Little things like that. So I spent about 7 years or so, right out of high school, illustrating and drawing people for a living. I worked at Six Flags, putting myself through college, doing caricatures. And so I drew a lot of faces, 5 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, depending on the day. And I got to draw a lot of different types of faces. Lots of different types of people. And that kind of repetition makes you get you better. I'm not saying that I'm great or good or anything, but it gets you better. When I first got into college, I showed my portfolio, and they put me into, they moved me from like all the beginning drawing courses, and they put me into like drawing 2, and they put me into figure drawing, or life drawing, and I got to skip some of the stuff. But my first year in college, I was about on par with everybody else, I think, in my class. And then I spent a year, that summer, those 3 months out at Six Flags drawing every day, and it's contract work. So if you don't draw, you don't make money. So you're encouraged to draw as fast as you can and as much as you can. Because the more you draw, the more money you get, and so on and so forth. So I worked really hard, built up my speed without realizing it. And when I went back to class, we started doing, gesture drawings. Like now I'm in, life drawing 2, and I'm in a couple of other art classes. But in life drawing, you do gesture drawing, where the model holds a pose for, they start off at 30 seconds, and they do several, and then they do like a minute, and then they do like 5 minutes, and then you eventually work up to like a 45-minute pose and what have you. But I had gotten so quick that I was doing almost completely rendered out illustrations in like at the 5-minute mark. I think I'd say about 5 minutes. Definitely had a lot more finished on the quick gesture drawings as well, and it's only because I spent 3 months, hours and hours every day illustrating. Okay, so this shape is starting to get blocked out. It's getting roughed in there. Get some of this bony structure around the eyes. You too, hush. You too, hush. Oh, here we go. Here's a better tool for this. I like this little spoon tool. Oh yeah, drawing people is really tough. I mean, it's really difficult because you know them, right? When I drew strangers, it was a little bit easier because I didn't know them so much, and I felt like I got better likenesses. But the second I had to draw a friend, or family member or someone I knew, it became very difficult. All the artists that I worked with, we would draw each other for practice, and we had a kind of a wall of shame in the back room where we would hang up all of our more extreme illustrations, because we did things with caricature with each other that we wouldn't typically do with the public, such as push exaggeration. Things that we know that probably hurt people's feelings, we kind of had fun with each other and really pushed it. But it's a lot of it's muscle memory. It's an eye for being able to see. It's an eye for being able to see what you're looking at and what's there, and it's muscle memory and getting your hands and your brain and your eyes to all work together to repeat certain things. So one of the things you can do when you're learning, when you're getting started, is I know it sounds bad. A lot of artists will probably shame me for this, but trace. Like get the picture of your friend and actually trace their picture. Trace not just their picture. Get magazines and trace whoever the models are in the magazines. And what's going to happen is you're going to start learning lines. You're going to start learning anatomy. You're going to start learning how things flow. It's also important to do gesture drawing, to like look at images and sketch them out and get an impression of that drawing. But I think this skull is too small. But tracing will, believe it or not, I believe it will help you. It will help anybody wanting to get better at drawing. I mean, don't put traced artwork in your portfolio by any stretch of the imagination, you know. But I don't see any problem with, when you're learning, to trace. I like looking at artists that I admire, and I will maybe not trace their work, but I will recreate their work. I love Frank Frazetta. He's one of my favorite, painters. He's like a modern master, right? And loved his artwork, and I would occasionally like redraw some of his, illustrate some of his, based off of some of his paintings or some of his illustrations. And then what you find is you start building your own style. I think I made my skull too small. Darn it. So now the question is, do I keep going at this scale or do I make it bigger? I think I'll try working at this scale for a little bit longer, see how I like it. So speaking of tracing, I know a lot of artists who, when they have to produce a lot of artwork really fast, they'll hire a model and they'll photograph the model, and they will essentially trace over the photograph and then do their painting and render it. And, it's a way of saving time, especially when you have like deadlines and stuff. In fact, I guarantee you some artists like Olivia and Boris Vallejo do that. And I think with them, because that's what they're doing, there's something's lost in the quality of their artwork. As beautifully as they render out their paintings, there's some quality is lost. Always have to count the teeth in the skull. I think I'd have it memorized. Get over there. The only problem with this program is I can move it that way just fine, but once my mouse goes off the other side, it just stops. All right, what do we got here? We got sizers, canines. Canine is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sizer, canine, and 1, 2, 3. 2, 7. Canine, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Seems on the far back. So one thing I do is I just kind of jump all around my sculptures. Sometimes I don't stay in one place for very long. Hey, Pink Werewolf, how you doing? I didn't think you would join in tonight. I hope you are having a good evening. And I do have the dogs, Lupin and Luna, in here with me. They're asleep over there. So yeah, I got the new fancy schmancy layout. It's so fancy, it's schmancy with the green screen, which can't quite get that corner. Where is it? Can't quite get that corner taken care of. I can't figure it out. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I started this like last week, this one, but I didn't really like the oil-based clay I was working with. It didn't do what I wanted it to do because I want to put some cloth material and what have you, and this is just the wrong medium for what I want to do. So I've tested out Monster Clay, which is this stuff. This is soft. That's definitely too soft for what I want. I started playing with medium, and I like medium. I like medium a lot. I just don't have enough of it. I got these little sample packs to kind of see if I like these or not. And, before I drop, a lot of money on a 5-pound brick, I figure I'd give it a test. These are just like $4 for this little hard, medium, soft sample pack. So, anywho, so yeah, I got this. I like this a lot. I want to work with this. I just don't have enough material for what I want to do. Then I've got the hard stuff. This is so hard. That's about as far as I got. I can't even bend it. Erg. So anyways, that's going over there. So I'm re-sculpting my skull because, and I was going to try to do the same size, but I didn't quite manage to get the same size. So I'm just running with the smaller version because, why not? So as I sculpt this, I'm also trying to think of molding. So I'm gonna cast and mold what I'm making, and I'm taking into consideration how I'm gonna mold this, and what material I'm gonna cast it in, and what material I'm gonna mold. Because I feel like knowing those, it's important because there might be things I don't want to do, like a lot of undercuts. Things like, instead of like carving this out back here to be more like a skull, I'll just leave this material in here. So this is gonna be flat. This is not gonna be a full skull. It's gonna be a magnet. I'm gonna be able to stick to a refrigerator or something. All right, well, I think I'm good with this part of it. Now I think I'm gonna do the jaw. So set this right there like that. All right, jaw time. How many skulls will I make? Well, I'm going to make the one, and if it's successful, I will make more, probably until the mold gives out. Molds have a shelf life. They deteriorate and break down over time. It depends on what you're casting and how careful you are. And I'm gonna, full disclosure, I am new to molding and casting and all that. I've never done it before, so it's all new to me. Kind of laying these out like UVs in the computer whenever you're doing UV mapping of a character. Not there, not quite yet. What made me try this? So I animate for a living, do motion capture, I make video games, I work film, television back in the early days, and now I've been doing games for like 15 years. And you can't hold an animation. Even if you say, hey, here's the CD with your game on it, or whatever, it's not the same as actually being able to pick something up and like hold it and look at it and give it to somebody, and kind of having that satisfaction of creating something with your own two hands. So I don't know, a few months back I was like, I think I'm going to sculpt. I'm going to try that. And so I did. And then somebody said, hey, you should Twitch stream. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And here I am with hardly any time to sculpt because I'm so busy doing everything else. See, hold on, let me bring this over. I got an anatomy study I was working on. There we go. So I've got this anatomy study that I started. It's not baked. I'm going to bake this. And I'm going to put a base on it, and I'm going to paint it. Not realistic muscle and bone, but kind of a for lack of a better term, like a sepia tone. And hold on, let's see if I can rotate around this guy. So you can kind of see the back. I wouldn't call this great. I would say this is a good first attempt at studying anatomy. So when I started illustrating for a living, I would draw anatomy of people. And I would start with the skeleton, like a foundation. I'd start building my way up, and muscle structure, skin. Then you learn, how to render clothing on top of that, hair, all that. And so I took the same approach with sculpting. I'm like, how can I do this and get better? And so the thought is, let me do some anatomy. Let me do a skull. I would like to do a beautiful ballerina or a cool something, I don't know, a cool demon or something, but you really need a good foundation. That's my opinion. Strong foundation. So that's kind of where I came from. And if you ever tune in on usually Wednesdays, although this summer it's been a little chaotic, I do motion builder tutorials on Twitch. That's something else somebody said. You should do a motion builder tutorial. Motion capture and that sort of stuff. So I did. So these are kind of the two things I stream. I do an educational stream about game development from an animation perspective, dealing with motion capture. And then I do other things like sculpt. When I went on vacation, I did little micro streams where I would illustrate, and so I was out at Disney World illustrating, and it was kind of cool out at Universal Studios and Disney World doing this because they have Wi-Fi, and it made it pretty easy to Twitch stream from those locations. Oh, there we go. "21st century Bob Ross." I don't know about that, but I appreciate that's like a pretty high compliment. Thank you. And do a happy little jaw just because I feel like it. Can make a gruesome little pirate. Cool, thank you. Yeah. I try. So during the school year, I've got a kid, so I'm on a pretty tight schedule with everything, and it's like every Wednesday this, every Sunday that. So every Sunday streaming, but he's at his mom's house for the summer. So my streams have been a little more loose. Like, I didn't stream yesterday, even though, because I had a game night with a bunch of friends, and I was like, well, I guess I'll stream Monday. By the way, if anybody is interested in learning sculpting, I have some Amazon links that you can go to, and I've got links to like the Sculpey that I use, and like, this is a really good book. Strength Training Anatomy. That is amazing. Amazing reference inside this book. I think this is second edition. I think the third edition is out. But this it shows you what muscles are being used whenever you're doing certain motions. And it's really, really good. I used this book when I was doing my anatomy sculpt. And really, really helped a lot. And I don't know if anything's on Twitch Prime, but if you got a Prime account, maybe you get some good deals. I don't know. So I originally bought that Strength Training Anatomy for illustrating back in the day, years ago, and it has served me well. I think it's only like $11 or something. Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. I recommend the soft cover and not the Audible version. I do love Audible though. Tell you, nothing makes my hour-long commute into work tolerable other than being able to listen to some good books. I should put some links to some of the books I listen to. If you're into if you want a good sci-fi, couple of good sci-fi books to listen to in Audible, Expeditionary Force is excellent. It's narrated by R.C. Bray, who narrated The Martian. That's a really good book. I also recommend Renegade Star, which has a whole series like Renegade Star, Renegade Moon, Renegade this, Renegade that. And that's definitely a space opera. You take like Cowboy Bebop and Battlestar Galactica and Firefly and kind of mix it into one world. That's kind of what it's like. All right, got some crazy teeth here I gotta fix. Oh, you know what? I bet it's easier to do this. There we go. Oh, my jaw's too far back. This is the importance of using reference. Always use reference. Yeah, it's too far back. So one of the things I had to learn when learning to sculpt is to, if you make a mistake, you know, it's totally cool to just cut it out. Cut out the mistake, redo it. It's one of the hardest things you can do because when you spend a lot of time working on something, you're like, man, I spent a lot of time. It looks kind of good. But there's something liberating about just taking something going, cutting it out. Will I make my own designs eventually? So are you talking about like something like my own version of a skull? Because I'm kind of using this as reference. So I'll fill you in on what I'm planning to do. So I plan on making a little skull. I'm going to turn it into like a little pirate skull. I'm going to have like cool hat and like hair that I'm going to sculpt in here, and then I'm going to cast it in a resin, or a plastic, and I'm going to turn it into a magnet that you can stick on your refrigerator. And if it works out well, I'll probably make a whole bunch of them. I think that'd be fun. And I don't know, maybe sell them on Etsy or something. I don't know. By the way, if you want to see me make this skull, I've got a bunch. I got the start of it on my videos. I think on my YouTube channel, so you can kind of see how it started off. All right. Yeah, One Eye Willie. It's exact fact. That's if I pull up his eye patch, it's just like One Eye Willie. That's why they call you One-Eyed Willie. One-Eyed Willie. Stick that back on there. But yeah, I'm excited. I wanna do this. I wanna finish it. Honestly, don't know how long this will take, because it's not something I've ever done before. It's coming along. For those of you just tuning in, if you go back and watch the beginning of this stream, you'll see this, kind of looks a lot like this. You can kind of see the progress made in an hour or so. I also talk about monster clay, which is this stuff right here. I got some sample monster clay to test, so I've got here's soft. It's a little too soft to work with. I got hard. It's like the Three Bears. This one's too soft. And the hard clay is too hard. But medium is just right. And so I started seeing what it was like to sculpt in it. And I like it. I want to sculpt in it. And actually this kind of started off looking like this. But I don't have enough of this material to do what I want, so I'm just going to put that off to the side for now and just keep working on this guy. I tell you, when I'm at work, I'll watch sculpting videos while I work, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to get home and and relax and do this. And then I get home and I have to take care of the dogs and cook dinner, and when the kid's around I gotta take care of the kid. Speaking of doggies, come here. Oh, you're just a little puppy dog. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Say hi to everybody. There you go. All right, go over there. If anybody is generous and decides to subscribe, you can get this cool Lupin emoji thingy. Emote. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, enough. I gave him attention, now he wants a lot of attention. Yeah, my problem is I want to get in there and I want to noodle around and I want to get all that really cool detail and I'll get into the eye sockets and I'll start putting all that in there, all that really cool anatomy of how the bones kind of come together, and I'll like dig in and I'll put in those little cavities and stuff. And then at some point I have to stop myself and go, you know what? That's not gonna, I don't think I'm gonna be able to cast and mold that very easily. I also want to get into doing like LEDs and wiring, and I'd like to be able to do a cool sculpt and wire it. And I think that'd be fun. Just 1 second. You dogs need to go outside and go potty? You need to go outside and go potty? Alright, I'm going to take a quick step away for a quick second. Apparently the dogs need to go to the bathroom. I'll just set this right here. I'll be right back. Alright, come on, let's go potty. All right, dogs are outside. Accident averted. Little wolf. So, funny story. Last night, in my office, which has doors, which is where I'm sitting right now, one of the cats, we have 2 cats, she decided she was going to take a nap in my office. And I didn't know this, so I shut the door. And she was in my office all night. And I went to work today. She's in my office all day long. And when I got home, all I hear is meow, meow. I'm like, look, where's this meowing coming from? I'm like checking closets. I'm because the cats, the cats. And I go into my office and I open up the door and there she is. And as I open it up, I realize there's cat poop on the ground. I'm like, oh my God, cats. I'm like, oh no. So she goes running out. I'm like, I gotta clean this up now. And I cleaned it. I thought I cleaned it all up. I had a bunch of like packaging from stuff that I purchased from Amazon. And apparently I missed a little bit because Lupin came in, found it immediately, and decided to eat it. So, darn dogs and cats. I tell you, this is like the best tool right here, this Anatomy 360. Such great reference. These are actual like 3D scans of, this is an actual 3D scan of a skull. This is a great reference. Do a Google search, Anatomy 360, if you're interested in getting some of these little packs of your own. I think I'm going to cut that back part of the skull off. Oh yeah, you got the? Did you get the skull pack, or did you also get some of the other packs as well? I wish I got a. wish I got a commission off of everybody I send to their website. Maybe somebody will tell them about me and they'll sponsor me or something. Or give me some free packs for pitching their product. Just the skull, yeah. It's a great tool. I like that they give it out for free. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool of them. So sometimes little fine detail will actually come in with an X-Acto knife, and I'll sculpt with the tip of an X-Acto knife. I tell you, when I was doing this skull, man, I was I probably noodled around with these teeth for a couple hours at least, until they started looking like what I wanted them to look like. But I feel like I learned a lot when I was doing them. I'm going to see if I can apply what I feel like I learned with those here. Like this tooth is like really big. I gotta cut that down. Oh, so something else that I have. I wonder if I'm gonna see if this works. Come here. Come here. Will this work? Oh, the light blows it out for the camera. It's not too bad. I have to admit, it's a little difficult for me because I can't quite hold my tool the way I want to. Wonder if I can do this a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's right. They got a Mac version. I think this is more it's more difficult. Just put that back up. I'll just do this with my old man eyes. Come in here and try to get these teeth sculpted. My girlfriend keeps telling me I need to get reading glasses, and I'm like, no, I don't need reading glasses. She's like, yeah, you do. Maybe she's right. Maybe I need reading glasses. I wonder if I could do it like this. Oh, this might work. Oh yeah, this will work. I think this is working a little bit better. So one of the things about teeth and stuff is they're not symmetrical. Oh yeah, my setup a little bit better. Yeah, it's actually I spent some money recently. Actually going to have a little bit better setup too because the whole Twitch Prime thing's going on right now, and like I got a new mic. I don't know if this is picking me up too good. I've got a new mic coming in. It's gonna have a nice boom arm. Got a switchboard that I ordered. Funny thing is when I use a magnifying glass like this, I kind of get used to looking at everything, up close, like it's big. So I'll go down to like get a little piece of clay to like stick someplace delicate, like the gum, like the kind of the gum line where the teeth go up into the skull, and it'll be too much, too much clay. So I really don't want the mouth open. I want it closed. So you have to fill that in. So one of the things I believe people need to do is when you're working really close on something, it's good to like stop and look at it from a distance, and then go back to it, because you might see something that you missed, or you get another perspective. So if you don't want your teeth to look fake, it's good to not make them perfectly straight. Even if you were given braces, chances are your teeth are not perfectly straight. So one of the things I do is as I'm sculpting, I'll like cut out little bits and pieces like this, and I have a little block of material that I'll just kind of stick it onto real fast. So I got now he's got a long buck tooth. So here's a interesting factoid. And I learned this because I went to Disney World for my summer vacation. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride, when it was first made, Disney did not have enough money to actually make skeletons and skulls and stuff like that for the ride. So they actually bought real skeletons and skulls for the ride, and for the longest time, those were real. In fact, it was later on. I can't remember what year. I don't know if it's the 70s or the 80s or whatever. They finally revamped the ride, and they replaced all the real skeletons with fake skeletons, everything except one skull. Whether or not that has been replaced since I heard that factoid, I do not know, but a little bit of useless knowledge there. Yep, real human remains on the Disney ride. He needs a missing tooth? Yeah, I was thinking gold tooth, but maybe a missing tooth, right? It's getting there. Still rough, but it's getting there. Usually right about here I think to myself, why did I do the bottom jaw? I could have just totally done the top part of the skull and made a cool pirate thing. And, oh no, my fingernail. Fix that. But I will be happy when it's done and it looks good. Hopefully it looks good. All right. Oh, my arm's getting tired. Whew. So we've got, let's see here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is where I have to be careful that I don't get into too much detail because I don't think it will show up when I mold it. Keep crushing the jaw. I can't wait to start using this stuff. This feels like it's gonna be much nicer to work with. Here's a challenge. Sculpt upside down. Well, not like you're actually hanging upside down, but just flip your sculpt around and try working on those shapes from a different angle. Should name him Scorpion. Get over here. Yeah. All right. He'll be Scorpion, but he's a pirate. He's Pirate Scorpion. The Dread Pirate Scorpion. Oh, I scratched my tooth. Oh no. It's getting there. I think I mixed too much medium Sculpey with the firm Sculpey, so it's a little soft for me. I wish it was a little bit firmer. Be able to hold these details a little bit easier. So the more you work this, the softer it gets. So if you let it sit for a while, it will get a little bit harder, more firm. I have to say this is probably some really cheesy music we're listening to here. Can you guys hear the music okay? I forgot to ask. Ah, I dropped my skull. Alright, it survived. One of my favorite things is when you get to the point of just adding all the little fun details, like all the little cracks and where the bones have fused together, and all the different cavities. Like there's some in the chin. There's also a couple right up here, underneath the eye socket. I have to keep myself from putting too much detail in too soon. Keep telling myself this is just a block out, this is just a block out. Broad brush strokes. Very cool scorpion. Oh, I keep smushing that chin. Let me drag it on my mat and try to fix it. Animal stuff, I have thought of it. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, but I have thought of it. I feel like a furry animal like a bear would be quite challenging to sculpt in all that fur. You can make a mold and stamp out the hair, but still very challenging. Oh, just a bear skull? Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe. Alright, I wouldn't call that done, but I'd call that, good enough for now. Now to do the other side. Ah! Dropped it again. Okay, it's all good. Horns to the skull? Oh yeah, you could totally go crazy. Make some sort of demon skull. That'd be cool. Well, all really good artwork, characters, creatures, is based off of actual anatomy, real world things. If you don't perfect the real things, or get close to, I don't know if you could do a really good creature. I mean, maybe you can. I'm sure some people are really good at it. But, really good at it out of the box. But I think I need to get a little bit better with the real world stuff. And then I can move over to fun demons and creatures. And there are some guys who they are creature artists. That's all they do. They love doing creatures and demons and monsters. They're very creative, way more creative than I am. So I learned if you want to make a really creepy character, a real creepy creature, you want to incorporate human genitalia in the design of the creature. And you can see that in just about every really creepy monster, like the facehuggers from Aliens. If you look at the part that attaches to the face, the little thing that comes out and the thing that attaches looks like a vajayjay. There's other things that look very phallic in creature designs. And the concept is when you incorporate those on an unconscious level, it creeps people out because people are look at it and they're like, oh my God, why does this thing make me feel so icky? That's why. So, one of my friends worked with a guy named Kenneth Scott when he was at ed, and Kenneth Scott incorporated for like Doom and those kind of games, incorporated the JJs into just about every monster, creature, scary, icky thing that he could come up with. And so he ended up having a huge folder full of that reference on his computer. Well, fast forward, he leaves ed and they hire me. But they don't just build me a new computer, they give me Kenneth Scott's old computer. Guess what folder I found? By accident. It's like, oh no. Oh my. The JJs and penises everywhere. Where were we? We were 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, I think I'm missing a tooth back there. Oh well. I guess his missing tooth is in the back. All right, dude, or dudette, or whatever the case may be. You have a good night. Catch you next time. I kind of like how crooked these teeth are in the front. I like that. Tell you, I have the hardest time not allowing my teeth to look like little chiclet chewing gum, little square chiclets. Oh man, teeth. They just go on and on and on. Oh man. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, oh man, I tell you, this starts wearing on your neck after a while. Just noodling around with all those little tiny details. Oh, trying to get in there and get that done. Oh, I might take a little break here for a second. Look at this. It's getting there. I think I squashed the cranium just a little bit. Need to repair that. It's easy fix. Here, take a little breather and look at something else I got here. What is this thing that I have? Let's check this out. All right, we got these packages here from the Monster Maker. Texture stamp set 3, 2, and 1. So these are really cool skin textures for doing like creatures and what have you. You can kind of see it. Let's crack into one of these. A little break here. Set this off to the side. Let's play with this, shall we? Just bought these. Okay, there we go. There's that. Really nice. What I'm really excited about is some of the skin texture is very much leather, like it's very leathery. And I'd like to be able to use that, not just on like leathery monster skin, but like on belts and stuff like that. All right, here we go. There we go. So I guess you just kind of tear these apart or cut these out. Use them as stamps. This is nice. It's kind of a cracked kind of leather skin. You got scales. Some of these textures are really, really nice. Let's see what this looks like. Let's smooth out a piece of clay here. Try to stamp. All right, let's check this out. What shall we do here? I'll try this one. It kind of fell off. It's kind of putting a little bit of a stamp in there. That one's a little subtle. Be good for like a big sculpt. Let's try something a little more texture. Let's try this. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's kind of like a alligator, kind of a reptile scales. I'll tear these apart. Well, I don't want to tear this. All right, let's put these off to the side. I can cut these out. But I think I need a new X-Acto blade. This one's spent. All right. All right, let's try this one out. This is kind of a bumpy reptile dinosaur-esque skin, or maybe a rock creature or something. Or maybe not. Maybe more of a interesting. Yeah, that gives kind of a nice texture. All right, let's try another one. I'm interested in something like a leather. I'm sure I've got a leather, something leathery. This is kind of leathery. All right, see how this works. I don't know if the camera can pick it up that well. It's not too bad. Yeah. There's kind of a pop-marked, scabby, kind of a, maybe a burn victim or something. Get this cut out here. There it is. Got this texture. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that's nice. A lot of these are raised. Some of these others. Some good scars. I think these were like 19 bucks, maybe 20 bucks with shipping each pack. Oh, this is like an elephant skin. This one right here. It's cool. That all over there. All right, back to Mr. Skull. Oh, gotta focus. There we go. All right, so One Eye Willie is going to be a One Eye Willie. So I really don't need this other socket. I just need the general shape and size. Oh, didn't realize I was sculpting off the camera. I'm gonna take this up for now. All right. So come here, Mr. One Eye Willie. Time to stick something in your eye. All right, I think that's good for now with that. Man. Not done, but not bad. It's getting there. Well, might have to call it a night. It's after midnight. Well, I think we got a lot accomplished. I am ready for the next phase of this, which is starting to put in all the bits and pieces and bits and bobs. What am I going to do? I'm going to put an eye patch over his left eye. I'm going to put a tattered headband on, some scraggly hair, pirate hat. I haven't decided if I'm going to do crossbones or like swords, cross swords, like some cutlasses or something. I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time on the top of the cranium because it's just going to get covered up. I just kind of want the basic shape. And then I'll refine the teeth a little bit better. So yeah, I think that's good for now. Drop that up there. I have to admit, I wish I made it bigger. I wish I made it about this size. Oh well. All right, you all have a good night, and I will catch you next time. Wednesday, I'm looking at doing another motion builder tutorial, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'll do a tutorial or just animate. I haven't decided. All right, you all have a good night, and I'll catch you next time.